Hey YouTube, welcome to another episode of News in 2 Minutes, bringing you the news that you need to know every day. Let's begin. The Secretary General of the United Nations discussed on Sunday ways that the body could expedite testing of the samples retrieved from various sites within Syria where chemical weapons are suspected of being used. Analysts that we have spoken to agree that the collected samples will likely return positive results for chemical weapons and that the United Nations will remain mostly non-biased in their determination of who used the weapons. However, we continue to wait for an increase in war rhetoric or the accusation of renewed chemical weapons use before any action is made toward launching an attack on the accused country. Scientists at the University of Exeter and Oxford have released a study in the journal Nature and Climate Change that explains how both the current models and those of the past show the direct interaction of global pest and food security issues and how these issues increase as the world enters into significant periods of climate change. The study lists a number of documented articles that have been published over the last decade, including Global Food Security Under Climate Change from the University of Pennsylvania, which discusses the impact of climate change and its direct correlation to expected population hunger models, and the pace of shifting climate in marine and terrestrial ecosystems from a number of international universities, which uses thermal shifts over a 50-year period to show the effect that a changing climate has on biodiversity. Both the leading article and the source articles are available in today's links on the website and are well worth the read. Virologists around the world are continuing to sound the alarm over the MERS coronavirus as Saudi Arabia reports what some analysts claim to be grossly late findings of new cases and fatalities of those infected with the virus, and ahead of the largest annual gathering of people in the world, where millions of Muslims from over 150 countries will convene in Saudi Arabia for a number of days. Thankfully, a relatively low number of cases were reported after this year's Ramadan, which saw tens of thousands gathering within the country, so we will continue to watch for changes to the virus which could signal a mutation or an influx in suspected cases from both Saudi Arabia and intersecting countries. And to wrap things up, Japan is preparing its citizens to deal with the possibility of another megaquake measuring as high as a 9.1. An Italian poultry worker has tested positive for H7N7, a moderate lava flow has been seen emitting from the Fuego volcano in Guatemala, and a 6.1 west of Papua New Guinea, as well as a number of lesser earthquakes around the Ring of Fire complete today's Quake Watch. And that's it for this episode of News in 2 Minutes. Check back tomorrow for more news that the aware need the most. This week's News in 2 Minutes is brought to you by SHTFplan.com, where even the officials go for news, and SQmetals.com for all your precious metal needs.